So, ladies and gentlemen, this interview is brought to you by Burn Up Coaching and the 21-Day Challenge. And if you are an entrepreneur or a high achiever and you hit a plateau, you're stuck, you are frustrated, or maybe you just know you have that next gear within you to be able to produce better results than you ever have before. So if you want to reignite your self-belief, your passion to succeed like never before, the 21-Day Challenge might be exactly what you've been looking for. What will happen over the 21 days of the 21-Day Challenge? You will get daily accountability check-ins to make sure that you're on track instead of falling off track. You will have weekly deep dive calls to make sure that you are empowered in your thinking rather than self-sabotaging. And you will have a specific laser-focused goal for 21 days rather than being scattered and all over the place. So that's what the 21-Day Challenge does. We'll get you lined up with your habits, your long-term plans, give you more clarity on that, and overall just get the support you need to blast off into your next level of performance. So if that sounds like a great fit for you, and if you're ready for the intensity, because this program is intense and it is not for everyone, send me a message, chris@beyourgps.com, and let me know that you're interested in the 21-Day Challenge. And I would love to send you the intake form and see if it's a good fit for you and welcome you to the 21-Day Challenge program and help you achieve your next 21-Day Challenge goal. Now, for the iTunes review of the week, it's by Luna Goon. Luna Goon says, value-packed, taking you to new levels. Chris is an incredible interviewer. He is super smart, silly, and has a gigantic heart of gold. He genuinely cares for his fans and bends over backwards to deliver high value for everyone he meets. This is a must listen. I recommend making time for it every week. Thanks, Chris, for your continued contributions. Thank you, Luna Goon. Muchas gracias, one of the two. And if you want to give us a review, search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on Facebook, and you can leave us a review there, or search it on iTunes, and you can leave us a review there, and or go to beyourgps.com/iTunes, and you'll find us. And thank you in advance for doing that, letting us know your feedback, what you like, what you love, what you didn't so much love, so that we can grow our show to make it even better. Thank you so much in advance. Now, for the woman of the hour, Mellissa Seaman. Mellissa was a Stanford-educated business lawyer until her intuitive abilities awakened. In the year 2000, with the birth of her daughter, now she bridges the worlds of business strategy and intuitive intelligence. Creative designers, Fortune 500 executives, and thought leaders hire her to teach them how to channel their genius, to create on demand, to stay in their flow state, and to become Genius Incarnate. She is a living, breathing, eating, sleeping genius, and she is here to share her golden wisdom with us. Mellissa, you ready to rock this?
Let's rock it, baby.
Woo, woo! We are now rocking it on the Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self 12-hour marathon. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your wisdom and just what you've learned and experienced so our audience can be their greatest possible selves.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much for welcoming me.
Absolutely,
really
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into the theme of today, which is calling in your creations. So Mellissa, how does this concept of calling in your creations, your manifestations, your dreams, and making it happen by declaring it, by visualizing, whatever the process is for you personally, how does that play a role for you?
For me, I'm trained as a lawyer, so I'm trained as a very logical person, an analytical person, and those genius ideas, those creations were things that I was trained to come up with. Mm-hmm. So to think about and to strive for, to reach for, and to plan for. And when I birthed my baby, my second child, I suddenly felt different, and I had what some might call a right brain awakening. I became a lot more intuitive very suddenly. And in integrating that experience, I learned that our ideas, our best ideas, our genius ideas, they arrive unbidden. And that's really always been true. They arrive in the shower, they arrive when you're on vacation, they arrive at the most inopportune moments sometimes, right? And they arrive mysteriously. And so all that training and all that education and all that is great stuff, because we certainly, once they do arrive, we need to learn how to make sense of them and make money with them and connect with people and explain what they are. But the truth of the matter is that the place where the best ideas begin, where genius arrives, is more like a download than like something we're working to come up with. And that is the essence now of the work that I'm doing with executives and professional creatives, is instead of sitting around kind of waiting for the muse to arrive and hoping that they get the great idea that they're being paid for this week, that they have the tools that frankly have been utilized for millennia by a lot of indigenous traditions and mystic traditions that perhaps have been co-opted by religion and dogmatism, but really they're just our natural ability to tap what is most powerful, what is most brilliant, what is most inspired, what is most meaningful.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love it. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation. It's going to be juicy. It already is.
Yes.
Okay, it already is. So, Mellissa, for anyone who doesn't know, you're an intuitive business strategist. You help people access their genius. Is there anything else you wanted to update us on, our audience on, about who you are?
You know, there's who I am and there's what I do. And the way that people utilize me is either to learn how to do the right business that's a perfect fit for them, so that money and opportunities just flow automatically when you work with your gifts and not against them.
Right.
And you know what you're gifted at, then that's part of it. And then I also work with, as I said, the implementer types who are very analytical, great at business, always have been fine with the whole money and creation thing. But what they're looking to do is to expand in how those great ideas arrive and to be able to tap them at will and create at will. So there's these two sides, of what I do in the world. And I'm very intrigued with how we bridge these worlds. And I have great respect for both the visionaries who need to learn how to make money and the implementers who know how to make money and need to learn how to tap the right visions so they are creating things of meaning and purpose and deep power in the world.
That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. Let's go back into the journey, Mellissa, and how you got to where we are today. What was that process like, and what kind of obstacles, challenges, growth opportunities did you face along the journey?
Well, there's, that big one, obviously, was a big change for me because I was a leader in my Catholic church. I was a liturgist within the Catholic tradition. I was a young mom of one and now a young mom of the second. I was married and had the big house and was practicing law. Suddenly, I was intuiting, hearing voices in quotation marks that were giving me information from a different source. Wow. From the world of meaning, from the world of metaphor and symbolism, a lot of shamanic type information seemingly coming from spirit guides or from councils and things that the woo-woo people had always talked about and I never believed in. So this was shocking to experience a whole different system of metaphor arriving for me to be able to relate with what some might just call the subconscious and others might call this the spirit world. And me with my analytical mind, I'll look at it either way. I don't actually care.
Right.
What I'm interested in is, does this information work? All this mystical hoo-ha, all this interesting, woo stuff, if it actually makes us better partners, better parents, better business people, better creators in the world, without forgetting to feed the cats and take out the trash, if it doesn't distract us from this real, very potent world that we're living in that needs us so badly right now, if it doesn't distract us, if it empowers us, then I say woo away, friends, let's rock the woo. And if on the other hand it becomes distracting and I was Joan of Arc in a past life and so I don't feel like taking out the trash today because Joans of Arc don't take out trash, then I would say no, not helpful.
I love it. I love it. It's a great analogy. It's phenomenal.
Okay, so that comes back to the story of here's this Catholic lawyer who accidentally gets psychic and is like, my first thing was, oh crap, I'm one of those people. Are you kidding me? Like, am I going to change my name to Moon Puppy? Am I going to, live naked in the forest? And I did actually for a while live naked in the forest. And I highly
What?
recommend that. Yeah, I highly recommend that experience. But honestly, I was like, shoot, everything that I thought I knew, the box that I've grown up in and that I've become accustomed to and that I found great success living within, suddenly is blown out of the water. What the heck? And my parents thought maybe I should be on medication. My husband of the time was like, I like what this is doing for our intimate life, but everything else sounds crazy. My friends were like, what the hell happened to you? And are you going to come back and run the married couples group at church? Like, what are you doing now? It doesn't make sense to us. And so it was traumatic, and I can't look back and be proud of everything I did during those times either, because I think I got a little bit high on my horse of like, well, I'm psychic now and I know lots of stuff that you people don't. And, it's easy to, when you get special abilities suddenly, to get kind of hot on yourself. And so it was a big mess, Chris. The truth is it was a big mess. And it took years for me to find myself in balance with all of that, to find how to balance those two worlds.
Wow. Dang. Okay, so you
Right?
had this big mess, but you did.
Big mess.
You did learn how to balance it. So what was that process like? What was the journey like?
Yeah.
And for people who might be going through their own challenging mess, what guidance do you have for them?
Well, for me, I'm a business person, so I started a business. I started a Shamanic Healing Arts Center in San Diego so that I could gather other crazy people and try and figure out what the heck was going on. And that was fantastic. And we ran that in Ray Street in North Park in San Diego, which is a really fun arts district. And but eventually, after a few years, I realized that I just needed to make a bigger shift because I was still trying to fit, in my old world, and I wasn't fitting. And so I ended up following an opportunity to move to Northern California and help establish a brand new hot springs eco resort, eco village, a $15 million development of a redevelopment of a hot springs down the road from Harbin Hot Springs. So I went and lived with the hippies at Harbin Hot Springs, and that was part of my Naked in the Forest time, and it was very refreshing because I could go up there and say, hey, everybody, I'm a psychic, I'm an intuitive healer, and they're like, oh, that's nice. That wasn't shocking for any of those people. They were like, really, what kind of shamanic work? I'm like, okay.
I found my people.
I found my people. I can relax with you people, naked in hot springs, which is a bonus. And I really followed my guidance. I followed my intuition, and we created a beautiful project and I was starting to merge the worlds. We raised $5.5 million of the $15 million we needed. We had the other $10 million promised from wealthy Marin families. We are creating a state-of-the-art, amazing permaculture plan for all 320 acres. It was 3 different hot springs and 7 different drinking springs, including like soda water that comes right out of a rock. And it was just an amazing, amazing project. And everything was just miraculously coming together because we were merging this business and this spiritual visionary aspect. And it was a dream project. And then something happened in 2008. I don't know if you recall this period of time in 2008 when the whole thing, all of that promised funding was gone. The bank suddenly is calling our loan and we're suddenly covering our butts. And what I did was what any good lawyer would do, maybe, which was I took the vision, the big, beautiful hippie vision that had been magnetizing us for lots of money and success from a lot of places, and we tore it up. We tore it up because we went into fear. My business partner and I went into fear around it, and we thought, well, enough of this fiddle faddle. Like, now we need to go get the money to cover our investors. We have a fiscal responsibility to our investors. Meanwhile, our investors are like, whoa, don't throw away the vision. Don't throw away the permaculture plan. Like, that's what we invested in. And we were so freaked out. And, and this was one of my big turning points and a low point of sorts, because I realized I realize now, looking back, that I actually betrayed that part of me.
Wow.
That is the natural visionary, that is the channel. And that was really painful. And I betrayed it because I was mad at God. I was mad at all this bullshit for getting me in this mess. And oh my goodness. And we ran in fear. And as anybody who's raised large amounts of money for a visionary project knows, the money's going to dry up if you don't follow the vision. Hi. That's not what to do. Like even in the wake of a major economic collapse, now I look back and I go, well, that was a mistake. But at the time, it seemed like the only responsible thing to do. All this permaculture stuff costs extra money. We don't need that now. Let's go back to the council of old guys who always invest in resorts, and we'll pitch it as a high-end resort. We'll get the money and we'll try and sneak in some of our hippie stuff later. Well, the old guys just looked at me and treated me like a secretary, right? And looked at my business partner, who was a very well-established developer of commercial real estate and resorts in particular, and just talked turkey with him and made it known that they're just bottom feeding, and nobody's going to give us the money. So, by 2012, I was exhausted and drained and back just self-flagellating, trying to write business plans to get this money, and just really torched. I just felt really zonked. And then my marriage fell apart. That was my second marriage fell apart. So I was like, seriously. And I really went crawling home to San Diego with zero. I'd lost $500,000 in the project and basically was at ground zero, facing, I didn't know if my investors might sue me or, there's nothing left to take, quite honestly, but I was just miserable. I was like, well, God betrayed me. My spirit guides betrayed me. This whole intuitive gift thing betrayed me. Rah, rah, rah. And my husband was mean and, just wow. So I was at the bottom, devastated, not sure if I could afford to live close to my kids where they were living with their dad at that point, because I was going back and forth and he was the anchor parent at that point. And I thought, can I even be with my kid? It was just unfathomable. And it was at that point that I talked to my coach. I talked to a friend basically who was a great coach, and he was like, hey, this is fantastic. You're at ground zero. This is where you need to be. And now it's time to bridge these worlds. Let's
do it. Let's do it.
Because you just had your big failure. Congratulations. Every great entrepreneur has some massive, horrific failure. Good for you, Mellissa. You just messed that up so bad.
So good.
So good. And I'm like, but what do I do? And he's like, it's time to study business in a new way. It's time to do business in a new way. It's time to bring this deeper gift that you have into the marketplace and put it to use for business. It's time to use your lawyer brain and your shaman brain and weave the two together to do what you came here to do, and not to create an eco-village where you can hide in the forest with the hippies, but actually bring it into the marketplace. Because look around. The world needs evolutionary leaders now. That's what we need, is new ideas, creative new ideas that are sourced from spirit, sourced from meaning, sourced from what matters, and that work. And he's like, very few people can bridge those worlds like you can, so we need you to get to work. And I was like, go back to school, learn more stuff. I thought I knew all the things. He's like, yeah, not so much. So I invested in a coach and I learned what I needed to learn, and I got a whole new education. And that was when it began, where I no longer looked at hippies and said, you stupid hippies, you don't know how to make money. Nor did I look at 1%ers and say, you dumbass 1%ers, you're ruining the earth and not listening to God. Now I'm like, y'all have stuff to teach each other.
Yeah.
And you all have both of these sides, and they need to start talking inside of you in order to bring products to market that will change this world, that will do what needs to be done. And we need to figure out how to become channels again of our own genius. We need to remember how to tap what matters without making it religious or dogmatic or making it too weird or special, but just to like open up this creative being and receive the brilliant ideas that are trying to land here. And then to let them come down and to actually embody them as leaders, not to be hypocrites who just talky or who talk one talk and walk a different walk, but to be leaders who care about these visions we're given enough to strategize them and to implement them intelligently in the world.
Beautiful.
I want to play with people who want to do that.
Let's do it.
That's really what I've been doing for, the past 6 or 7 years since everything seemed to fall apart.
I'm
Guess
so excited.
what? It's all together.
I'm excited to dive into the execution of being the bridge and what we can learn, how we can be better geniuses and channels of that genius. So let's start diving into that, because you've been working on this for a good amount of time now, and you have this foundation of awareness and what we can do to start taking steps towards that. Obviously, when people work work with you one-on-one, that's where they're going to get the biggest benefit and advantage. And for the listeners who are here today, we could start learning some stuff that will take us in the right direction.
Oh yeah, let's share some stuff, because I think you guys will really dig it. Yeah, for sure. So the first place that I start is actually at the bottom. I think about us as creators, because that's how we are. I think we're creators. We're creative people. Yeah. And the creative idea arrives as a download up here, like from the that sort of thing. And then it comes down. Here's the vision. It becomes a vision. It comes down. It becomes an offering. It becomes something we really care about. And then it comes down. It becomes a strategy. It comes down. It becomes a tribe. Wow. We collect a tribe around it, support. And then it comes all the way down, and it's birthed into the world with implementation. So the place I like to start is, are you implementing the wrong gift? Are you giving the wrong gift in the world that doesn't really fit you? Which gift do you give naturally, effortlessly? And that's the soul gift system. So there's 5 different kinds of soul gift. And I created a quiz. That's the soul gift quiz that I told you about, that you guys can find right in the show notes. Soulgiftquiz.com. Soulgiftquiz.com. SOUL giftquiz.com. It takes like 2 minutes.
Not SOLE, not like the sole of your foot.
Not the sole of your shoe. Not soul like the sun. If you're from San Diego like me, then you know Spanish, and that's soul too. But no, SOUL, like your soul, from the soul of what you do. Your soul gift. So soulgiftquiz.com. And you can take the quiz now while you're listening, because it's 2 minutes. It's not distracting at all.
Love it.
And that will identify which of these 5 types you are. And these 5 types basically tell you what type of stuff you should be birthing in the world and what you should stop trying to birth in the world.
Wow.
Stop. Because many of us have been trained to give the wrong gift, to give the gift that was our parents to give, or to give the gift that we went to school to give, or to, and that's hoo-ha. That no function. So there's 5 types. And I can go through them briefly. Would you like me to?
Please.
Okay. So there's creators. These are the type of people who, not the creatives, but creators. These are people who it seems like they were around when the world was created, because they act like they know it all. And they're really good with systems. They understand complex systems, and they're constantly critiquing systems, whether it's physical systems like, I wonder why they made this like this. I would have made it like that. Or it's like more hierarchical systems, money, business. They're constantly critiquing and evolving systems. Okay. There's the messengers. I think you might be one. We talk. We talk, we love words, and we love translating complex things into messaging, writing, speaking, sharing. Okay. And messengers, boy, it's hard to shut us up, and we get really ticked off if you interrupt us. So just know that about messengers. The third type is transmitters. Transmitters, and you got some of this too, no doubt about it. Transmitters are energetic beings who literally just radiate a certain healing frequency in the world. And people are like, wow, you know, so they often are healers or teachers too, but they're more embodied teachers. So people just light up around them. And some people love their energy and some people hate their energy, but because it's a strong energy. And these are often the really sensitive souls, the intuitives, sensitive body systems. They have to really take care of themselves, and they don't really want to work for a living, because why should they have to? They're giving their gift all the time. They feel like everybody should just throw money at them for being awesome. And there's some righteousness to it. Like in the olden days, they would have been identified in the temple as like, oh, this kid's special. They just got the juju. Just feed them, just take care of them, and they're just going to light everybody up. And those are the transmitters. So already you can see that if, like, I went to law, I was sent, that sounds like I'm some kind of victim. I went to law school. I'm glad I went to law school. I learned a lot in law school. Law school teaches you to be kind of a creator, like a critic, a systems person, right? I'm a messenger. I didn't like it. It didn't fit me, honestly. Yeah. And there is no reason why I should be placed in a position where I'm trying to, set systems and create the systems and critique the systems. And now the dogs, the dogs never make so much noise as when I'm on a freaking interview.
Of course.
just to be honest about that, you guys. In fact, I'm going to take you over. We're going to shut the door while on the interview. I'm shutting the dogs out of the house. Watch this. Watch me do it. Don't think I won't. I'm coming over there. Pains in my ass. Now you guys get a little tour of the house. Okay. So, is that closed? All right. So you can see how it is. And we all get trained to do stuff that we're really not suited for. And then we wonder why it's so freaking hard and why we hate our jobs and hate our lives. Durr. That's a technical lawyer term. Durr. I rest my case. So we've got two more types to talk about. There's the explorers. The explorers are people who came to this planet this time just to push people's buttons and stretch the limits and test all the things. Oh, wow. So they're going to try crazy stuff with their body. They're going to try fun, interesting things with their relationships. They're going to travel all over the world. They're not going to want to sit still. They're just going to want to let's see how this works. Let's see if this breaks. Oh, let's check this out. And
what happens when I quit my job and I travel to Asia and just try to figure it out?
I wonder if you got some of this one, right? So explorers birth into the world expansion. That's what they birth. Wow. Transmitters birth into the world a new healing energy, a literal transmission of radiance into the world. Creators birth into the world an organizational principle. And they're different organizational principles based on the creator. And the messengers birth into the world wisdom, translated for a wide audience. Okay. The last type is researchers. Researchers are people who are witnesses, and they're actually clean, objective witnesses. Unlike the rest of us who are like, we see what we want to see. Researchers see what's there. Wow. They see what's there. And they like it when things make sense. So they like video game worlds because video game worlds actually make sense, right? So researchers channel into the world data that we can trust. We can trust their data, and that's super important. So you can get a vibe now on these 5 different types. And again, the quiz is really effective at nailing you. If you're to guess what type you are, you're usually wrong. Most people guess the type they've been trained into, not their intrinsic primary type. Wow. A lot of people would choose their secondary type, what I would call their secondary soul gift. And it is often a big revelation for people when they actually take the quiz and they're like, oh, crap. Because it nails you, because it goes under the surface. The questions are, I help people with quiz funnels now. That's one thing that I do because I studied that at Stanford, like how to ask questions and give answers that actually go under and touch the subconscious of people so that they're answering in ways that will bust them.
That's awesome.
They can't and so I love quiz funnels for marketing right now because they get right under people, and then people are like, oh my God, like they get the results and they're like, oh my God, this thing nailed me. How is this possible? It's so fun to have deep conversation with people inside of a funnel.
So keep this, like, pin this, because I'm going to want to talk to you about how to take a quiz for people to find out what level of influencer they're at, to know what their next step is to grow their influence and business. So I definitely want to talk to you more about this, because I want to create like a list of joint venture partners for whatever level that they're at, whatever. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So we'll come back to that.
Type of influencer. So, we got to talk about that for sure.
Okay.
So that's where we start, is with the soul gift. Like, which gift are you giving and which shouldn't you be giving? And, knock it off. Like, stop trying to give what you're not designed to give. And that right there saves you so much time and energy. But that's just the bottom part of this channel that I described, this channel of genius. It's where you birth your gift into the world. But there's these other parts, right? How do you tap genius on demand? How do you receive your best creative ideas on demand when you need to?
You say, give me that idea.
You know what? There are some actual things we can do. And one of the biggest one is to relax. Because why is it that we get such great ideas when we're standing under the hot shower? Why is it that we get our best ideas in those moments between sleeping and waking? I would say there's two elements there for both of those moments. One is that you're relaxed. You're finally freaking relaxed. The other is that you're in a light trance. And so trance is a tool that indigenous cultures have been using forever. Not just for religious stuff, you guys, for pragmatic stuff. As my adopted Apache mom says, she said, honey, I was raised on the reservation in the White Mountains. And if you got to hunt rabbit, you need to be able to see through rocks. You need to be able to feel where that animal is. And the only way to do that is to access trance. And we're not going to walk around high on medicine all the freaking time. It has to become a natural ability to go into a light trance and to see beyond what's just physical and obvious. And I was like, what? You mean that's okay? She's like, honey, in my tradition, and this is Maria Yesperu, who's amazing, Earth Wisdom. Yeah, I can give you her name so that you can put it in show notes or whatever. But she said, honey, in my tradition, if you weren't hearing voices by the time you're 12, we were worried about you. She was dead serious about this.
That's awesome.
You can't live on the land safely in tribe, in community, unless you're hearing those intuitive voices. It's really important. Oh my God, the dogs just broke down the door. What are you doing? Look at this. Wait, where'd she go? Oh my God, this problem maker. Okay. It's like licking my hand. Ha ha. I'm a door opening dog.
I love it.
So I'm like an all-powerful shaman, but I can't control the dog. I can't control the dogs.
I love it. So we get these ideas and inspiration at certain times when we're relaxed, when we're entranced. Also, or in trance. Is that similar to Hakalau, the Hawaiian Hakalau? Is that like? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of Hakalau?
Which one is that?
It's Hawaiian. It's like the ancient like Huna Hawaiian kind of tradition. Cool. Hakalau is like all perceptive. Like you just like kind of focus on one point, but then you get the expanse of the
open your side vision.
Yeah.
That's common in a bunch of traditions. And what's so cool is when you learn about trance stuff, you learn that everybody's doing the same stuff. Opening your vision, letting your vision go blurry a little bit is one thing you can do. Rhythm, and it's always the same rhythm. Doon, 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 that same speed, because that's what entrains the mind.
Wow.
Just flip into that visioning state. It's like this stuff is like, it's a no-brainer. You know, it's not like, only important religious people can. No, it's like, this is just human stuff. And so reclaiming this stuff, I feel, is really important. And a lot of it is stuff you did as a kid. How about spinning around in circles? Like how many of us would spin round in circles and make ourselves dizzy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's something that indigenous cultures do to open up this other awareness. The Sufis do it. Everybody freaking does it. Right? So we don't have to make it weird or woo, you know, or woo weird. We don't have to make it seem, it's just like, oh, we forgot. At some level, some of this stuff is like, oh, shoot, I forgot.
Yeah.
You know, with spirit guides is another thing. People are like, whoa, that's really woo. No, it's not. You can't tell me that you don't talk to yourself. You can't tell me that you don't hear voices arguing inside your head sometimes. You can't tell me that as a kid, you weren't constantly talking to your imaginary friends and your, you know, everything. What do you think I should do, Mr. Penn? Well, I think, you know, I mean, we're all nuts like this. This is just the way the human mind can connect with higher sources of wisdom, is we have to personalize it and talk to my dog all the time, right? I'm busy chewing on the carpet right now. She seriously is. This is a delicious, really expensive Persian rug. I'm not comfortable with that. Okay. Anyways. So, you know, we're all talking to inanimate stuff. We're talking to spirit. We're talking to our dead grandma. And it's hilarious to me. You know, I've worked with some Fortune 100 executives and people who are creating products that you know, we hold in our hands every day, that billions of people have their hands on. And they're a bunch of freaks too. I'm telling you, they're a bunch of freaks. They're like, well, I got this idea. You'll never, I can't even tell you how. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to find you weird. Like all that stuff that you hide and don't talk about, that is actually really normal. And the fact that you get great ideas from spirit guides and ancestors and trees and bushes and worms that you talk to on your lunch hour, like, you're just not weird. We're all doing it. We're just not talking about it. I've literally never met anyone who, when I press them, doesn't have a ghost story. Doesn't have some story that is beyond understanding, that's mystical. And they're like, well, there was this one time where I totally knew when my dad passed away without knowing. I'm like, really? Scientist guy who refuses to believe in anything except what he thinks science is, which, you know, talk to quantum physics and that's a whole nother science ride, right?
Yeah. So we start getting these ideas, and the purpose of this is to get inspiration in whatever area of life and wisdom and insight in whatever area of life we're currently passionate about or engaged in, or maybe we have a blind spot about and we don't even know that we're sucking at it. Totally.
Yeah, we get these downloads about everything from which lane to go down to find the open parking spot to which product to launch, you know, October 1st. All of I believe, and, you know, there is a bunch of science they talk about that almost all your decisions are made in the subconscious, that all your thinking cells are found in your gut feeling, you know, that there's more thinking cells in your gut than in your brain.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's all kinds of cool science that people talk about. And I'm not a scientist. I don't know all the stats. You know, a lot of speakers have those on little cards. I don't have that. We can Google, look it up. I'm more interested in what we all just freaking know. You know, before you look it up, you're like, dude, that is true. I do know where that freaking parking space is going to be. And sometimes I just to be a nut, I'll be like, no, I'm not going down that road. You know, I'm not going to fall for that. It's like, we're silly. We are so silly. But what I'm really pointing to here, and I'm being very silly because it's so fun to be with you. And I know that, you know, you've got so much energy and people get that, and I feel this permission to be my nutty self.
Thank you.
But really what I'm trying to point to is this is not weird. This is your birthright. You're already doing it. This is normal. And that even the most seemingly straight-laced, brilliant, magnificent, very successful in the world of business people are doing this. They're just calling it something different, and they're not talking about it all the time. And that part, I think, needs to change. I think we need to start talking about the fact that we know that we're channels, that we know that our best ideas and our best moments happen to us as if we're just this instrument that something cool is flooding through, that our most brilliant speeches and talks to our kids and our accidental moments of genius where we're like, and it comes through, and we're somewhere in the back of your mind, you're like, am I still talking? This is good. This is good stuff. Where is this coming from? And afterwards, people are like, wow, how did you come up with that? And you're like, I didn't.
What did you say?
That wasn't me.
I can't even remember.
It just came through me. And so as a messenger, this is what I can relate with, is when the words come flooding through. For a creator, what happens is they create something brilliant in the middle of the night with a bee in their bonnet, and they're looking at it like, did I just build this model? Did I do this? Wow, this is really good. I guess I did this. I don't know how I came up with this. This idea downloaded. That's what I hear a lot with brilliant, successful creatives and company founders and product designers is, I don't know, it just downloaded. It arrived. The idea arrived, and the idea took me by the hair and was like, you will now build me. Yes, ma'am. Like, and I'm building it. I'm not choosing. It's happening without the choice, and so that's when we're channeling fast. And those are fantastic moments when it just comes pouring through and there's nothing you can do about it. But it's more of an everyday experience that it happens consciously. You get the idea first, and then you think about it, and it starts to make sense. And then it goes all the way down, and then you start to be able to speak of it. You start to put words to it. So I talk about these like gateways, Genius arrives through this crown gateway, the download gateway, I call it. And then it kind of descends into the mind, into this vision gateway. Am I willing to let this vision kind of flower without talking about it too fast, to actually let it unpack inside my mind till I see it and taste it? And then am I willing to give it words, to make it a message, to give it a description that other people might be able to understand? Maybe it's just in my journal right now, but I am putting it to words. That's the expressive gateway. And then am I willing to let it come into my heart such that I'm willing to fall in love with this idea and become attached to it happening and feeling like, wow, this could be such a gift to the world. And now I'm in love with it, and I want it to happen, and I want it to have this magnificent effect. And then dropping down into the solar plexus, which is where I see it becoming a plan and a strategy, and like, okay, great, I'm in love with it. Now we have to get real. How's it going to work? What's that plan? But get real without doing what I did, without tearing up the vision. Get real with it, and to keep all that heart energy of the in loveness and the vision and all of it together cohesively in the plan.
If people go through that experience of like doubting or fearing because they're brushing up against whatever, what recommendations would you give them when they're challenging the status quo, when they're doing things outside of their comfort zone, and they're like at their edge every time that they're dealing with their heart's calling, their soul's calling, soul gift? Yeah.
Well, first and foremost is to let that channel open back up. And the primary way to do that is actually in the body, to relax the root of the body. So I just imagine like my hip bones and everything on the bottom of my body going, just relax. It's the opposite of a tight ass. It's the opposite of this like, oh my God, I gotta go to Kinko's and make copies. I gotta fix everything. I gotta come up with no, stop. Whoa, relax. And then relaxing this jaw, relaxing it open. So the jaw and the root are the two kind of control points. And when those are relaxed open, that's when we can actually breathe. Wow. And as you're breathing, your physical channel in your body will relax. If you relax your jaw and your root and you take some deep breaths, your body will relax. Those are the two primary like hold points. Because it looks like this. Does that look enlightened?
Yes. The wisdom's pouring through.
Village idiot pose is what opens your channel. This is what opens your creative channel. This channel of genius that allows your genius to flow through you. And I'm here to reclaim the word channel, because channeling, people think of like, oh, and your eyes flip back in your head and some weird something comes through you and takes over. No, let's not. Like, we don't need any weird alien things that make no sense to talk to us. We've already got politicians that make no sense talking to us. We've got all kinds of people talking to us that make no sense. We don't need any weird ass spirits telling us stuff that don't help. What we need is to be channeling our own genius, our own brilliant ideas. And that requires arrival in the body, which is something that we've all been trained out of, especially if you're overeducated like me. Stanford, law school, that's a lot of education that pulls us right up into our heads and out of our bodies.
Yeah.
Oopsie poopsie. You can't be a genius. You can't channel genius unless you incarnate into that genius. You can't be a teacher unless you are walking that talk. You're not a true teacher if you're just talking. A true teacher is transmitting. They're embodying what they teach. Their whole body is resonating it. And then when they say it, you feel it. You feel it's true. And so that's genius incarnate. And that's the point of my work now, is like, how can we incarnate our genius? How can we embody our genius? How can we be brilliant? Yes, but birth it in the world as something real while being embodied in it. Damn, that's fun. Let's do that. Let's do that. That's what genius is. You know, when Einstein was having a really good day, I bet you that's what he's doing. And when, all those other guys we call geniuses, what were they doing? They were channeling genius. Okay, now the neighbor's dog is here.
Yes, it's a party.
I don't know what it is about your show, but it is seriously, the dogs dig it.
It's activating.
This is the neighbor's dog. This is the neighbor's dog. It's cool.
It wants some of that GPS
Dogs
energy.
want to channel some genius. They want some GPS. Dogs are totally embodied in their genius, aren't they? They actually are. They're just like, I'm flowing with it, guys. Like, I'm clear about this. I'm going to find that bone. Like, y'all can look things up on Google. I'm going to go out and sniff this bone out.
I love it. So let's begin recapping for anyone who's just tuning in or just wanting the nuts and bolts, the bullet points. Here's what I'm taking away. Here's what I can take action on. Here's what to focus on moving forward to channel my genius.
Rocket. Okay. Ready?
Ready.
This is the Cliff Notes version. Remember Cliff Notes? Okay. First, there's no such thing as a person who's a genius. We are all channels of genius. We get brilliant genius ideas that download into us, and it's our job to embody them all the way down through this channel that we are. Make me an instrument of your peace. Yeah. Also, make me an instrument of your brilliance. Also, make me an instrument of the new solutions that are going to save the world. Also, make me an instrument of divine wisdom and love. Like, let's just go for all of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we are. We're channels of genius. Channels of genius. And if you want to become more of a channel of genius, your first place to start is to learn what kind of gift comes out the bottom of your genius channel. What is it that what's the big egg you're supposed to be laying in this world? Because you're probably trying to lay the wrong egg. And for that, There's the Soul Gift system and the Soul Gift quiz, and it's the perfect place to start. So you can check that out at soulgiftquiz.com. And in 8 easy, fun questions in 2 minutes, you're going to find out what is the primary gift you are here to birth into the world through this channel of genius. And ideally, you're going to find out what you're not here to birth so you can stop doing that. Because if you're struggling in your life, it's probably because you're trying to be something you're not. So let's just find out what you are and move from there. Okay, so that's the first big one. Soulgiftquiz.com is a good tool for that. Next, staying open to the download. You don't have to wait around for some magical muse moment to take you off guard in the shower that sends you running for your journal and a pen like, oh, I just had one great idea. No, you can stay open to those downloads 24/7, especially if you're a professional creative. This is really important. And some of the essential tools, like I've got a whole program of tools for that, but the most essential one is to relax your root, to relax your jaw, village idiot pose, and breathe so that your whole body relaxes. If you're tense, you can't do it. Another aspect of that is natural trance. You do it every time you're going from sleeping to waking. You enter a natural trance state. That's why you get great ideas in that moment. There's other ways that I work with my people. You don't have to take drugs to do trance. Your body is built for trance. Some people, rhythm can be used, music can be used, dance can be used. There's lots of ways to access that space where you're a true visionary on demand. You create on demand. Okay. And then there's these gateways that we talked about along this path of this creative channel. We didn't even get all the way through them, but to know which of these gateways is open and closed and how to keep them open so that you're not getting stuck along the way. If you're someone who's a natural implementer, who's really good at business already, then the ones that you're probably going to need to work on opening are these visionary ones. If you're someone who's got a cajillion great ideas but isn't making enough money, then it's the ones on the lower body that you're working on so that you can birth something that makes sense and makes money in the world.
Beautiful.
And that's the channel of genius. And the overall, what I like is to help people incarnate into their genius. So this is an embodied, honestly, it's more of a feminine way of creating in the world. And I'm whispering because some people get all bent out of shape if you say feminine, masculine. Oh, that means it's all about women. No. We all have masculine, analytical, directive stuff, and we all have feminine, receptive, intuitive stuff. And if you're not using both, you're not a genius. And what's missing in the world? It's mostly the feminine stuff. So yeah, I'm going to frickin' talk about it. And no, it's not leaving the guys out. It's saving the guys from themselves. And it's empowering the women to do what comes even more naturally if you've got a feminine body. Why? Because we're built to birth. And creativity is birthing. That's what it is. So yeah, let's channel our genius. Let's stop making it hard. Let's actually reclaim the mystery. Let's reclaim our ability to source great ideas from where they come from directly and put these frickin' things to work as swiftly as possible because the world needs us now.
That's right. Right now. And Mellissa, you mentioned a couple of ways people can stay connected with you in next actions. Can you recap those one more time?
It's real simple, you guys. Soulgiftquiz.com. Start there. And then if you want to keep in touch with me, you'll have the opportunity. You're going to get your results even if you don't want to keep in touch with me, okay? Because I believe in giving you a choice. I'm not going to be like, ooh, give me your email and then I'll tell you what soul gift. No, you find out what soul gift you are. If you dig it and you dig me, give me your email and we'll start a conversation. Okay. And I'll send you lots of cool information like we do, but it's all going to be relevant to you and your type and who you are, because above all, that's what I want for you is to just align with your frickin' gift so you can do what you came here to do and enjoy the heck out of it.
That's right. 100%. Mellissa, you are
Yay.
a superstar. Thank you so much for coming on here. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see your impact, your brilliance shine, your genius shine in the world, and all the people who you empower to
Thank you.
really channel their genius and birth some amazing creations in the world, amazing transformation, amazing impact. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be co-creating this reality with you and with other people like us, in just wanting to tap into that genius, wanting to tap into our soul gifts. It is amazing. So thank you for what you do. And everyone who's listening or watching, stay connected with Mellissa. She is a heavy hitter hitter. I don't know if that's,
Boom.
hitter, birther, whatever you want to call.
That's right. It's all impact, baby.
You're a heavy hitter and a deep birther and a heavy hitter. We'll go with that.
All good, love. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Mellissa. I appreciate you. And I want to talk to you about the quiz and the joint ventures and all that good stuff, and see what we can create together, because you are rocking it. Okay?
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds great.
Awesome. Have the best day ever, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.